So I have to revisit East Palestine, Ohio again, because I saw some other videos today. And I can't believe that these are the authorities telling people everything is okay. And still, to this time, right now, 6:17 p.m. on February 15th, Joe Biden has not held a press conference regarding this toxic chemical spill in this small town. Here's how one resident described it and how he feels and what he thinks is going to happen. Have a look.
We basically nuked a town with chemicals so we could get a railroad open. I was kind of surprised that when they quickly told the people they can go back home. There's a lot of what ifs, and we're going to be looking at this thing 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line and wondering, gee, cancer clusters could pop up, well water could go bad.
And if I had to guess, I'd say he's right. How do they know what's going to happen 5, 10, 15, even 20 years down the line with these toxic chemicals seeping into the ground and floating through the air? We've all heard of cancer clusters. It's happened God knows how many times in our country from tainted soil, okay? Tainted soil, from drilling, from dumping, you name it, it's happened. People have died, have gotten cancer from it, okay? Remember the movie Erin Brockovich? That's what that was about. People getting cancer from drinking water. Is this town, East Palestine, Ohio, going to be the same thing someday? How do we know? But I had to laugh when I saw the state's top doctor take the podium. And quite frankly, he reminds me of somebody I'm sure you've all seen. This is Ohio's version of Tony Fauci, and this is his take on the toxic chemicals that have been spilled. Have a listen to this.
Most of the chemicals that we're worried about and that we're talking about fall into a category known as volatile organic chemicals. Volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, it's important for us to recognize, are actually a part of our everyday life. So if you go this afternoon on your way home to pump gas in your car, you're being exposed to volatile organic compounds.
Yeah, so he told us what it is. They're volatile organic compounds or chemicals. But he's not worried about it. Tony Fauci II is telling the residents there that they have nothing to worry about because they're the same types of chemicals that they would breathe in if they were putting gas in their car. Well, I know when I pump gas, I could smell it, but I'm not getting headaches. I'm not getting irritated eyes, or my throat doesn't get irritated, and I don't feel lethargic or sick. But people in this town apparently are feeling that way. But if you listen to the professionals there, no one has to worry about anything. Well, one resident made a video showing us the dead fish. And the fish just aren't dying for no reason. All of a sudden, fish are dying and floating around for no apparent reason. And it can't be the chemicals. Oh no, Tony Fauci II said, no way, it cannot be the chemicals. This is some video from a resident again, showing us the dead fish after the chemical spill.
Another fish. There's hundreds of them up here. Another fish. Another fish. They're just everywhere. Fish. Fish. Fish.
So all of a sudden, dead fish are popping up all along the banks of the Ohio River. Excuse me. And this just happened to be after this toxic chemical spill that, again, is leaking into the ground, even though they made a trench to contain it, floating through the air in a mushroom cloud, and fish are just dying, and the officials are not worried. Well, this lady I'm going to show you, who I believe is the Parks and Recreation Director, She's going to tell us that no non-aquatic life has been harmed by the chemicals. She hasn't heard anything about it. Even as far as Pennsylvania, she's heard no stories of animals being affected other than maybe some fish. Quite frankly, this video clip is going to show you that she's lying. Have a look at this.
Any evidence of non-aquatic species suffering from the derailment. Haven't had any concerns about that, not only here, but we also communicate with the Pennsylvania Game Commission as well, and they haven't heard about that either.
Amanda Brashears was going to feed her 5 hens and rooster this morning when she discovered them all lifeless. She believes the smell following the detonation of the train carrying chemicals that derailed in East Palestine is to blame for her birds' sudden death.
My chickens were perfectly fine before they started this burn, and as soon as they started the burn, my chickens slowed down and they
Taylor
died.
tells me all of his foxes have been sick and acting different since the weekend. Some have abnormally puffy faces, including the one he's holding. He says they are not eating properly. Many are dealing with stomach issues and are acting lethargic. Taylor says the train derailment is causing all of these issues.
So the lady raises chickens for eggs, and you heard her. Her chickens were fine. They've always been fine. She checks them, she feeds them, she gets the eggs. But when they lit the chemicals on fire that made the huge mushroom cloud, she went to check on her chickens, and they were dead. Why did her chickens die if the chemicals aren't harmful to animals? If they're killing chickens in a pen or whatever you want to call that, if they're killing chickens, what are they doing to humans that are breathing it in? Oh, they may not kill them right away, but again, what about the cancer clusters that might come down the line 5, 10, 15, 20 years? These people are lying politicians. They will not tell us the truth. And I know it doesn't affect me personally, but it's affecting the people living in that small town, and their local government and the federal government did nothing and are doing nothing. They are the ones who lit the chemicals on fire to get rid of the chemicals. They knew it was going to cause a problem. They knew they weren't just going to go up into the atmosphere and disappear, but they don't care. And again, people are saying they're not feeling well, they have headaches, sore throats, itchy, watery eyes. It's not the common cold. And Tony Fauci II wants you to believe that it's just cold symptoms. And the air is perfectly clean because the EPA did air sampling and everything is fine.
Around East Palestine suffering headaches, other health problems like sore throat, etc. And then in addition, other anecdotal reports about animals dying like chickens and cats.
Unfortunately, volatile organic compounds share with a host of other things the ability to cause very common symptoms at the lower levels. So headache, eye irritation, nose irritation. We have to look at the measured facts. And the measured facts include the fact that the air sampling in that area really is not pointing toward an air source for this.
So again, the volatile organic chemicals cause a host of issues similar to watery eyes, itchy eyes, sore throat, maybe some breathing problems. But we have to listen to the facts. After all, he's the top doctor in the area. He knows the facts, and he's positive that the air sampling showed no toxic chemicals. It showed nothing that was going to be harmful to the people who lived there. Well, we all know already it's killing animals. It killed chickens. It's making the guy who raises the foxes, his foxes are going crazy, swollen faces, not eating, running around in their pens. They've never did that before. It only started after they burned the toxic chemicals. The fish. Why are the fish dying all of a sudden? Is it just a coincidence that they lit a fire with hazardous material. Is it a coincidence the fish are dying now? Or chickens? Or fox? What's next? What about pets? Cats? Dogs? What about them? We haven't heard anything about those yet, but I bet you we will. These people are a disgrace to their profession. They will go on a podium, look into a camera, and lie to the people they supposedly care about and they want to make sure are safe and healthy. What's this remind you of? It reminds you of Tony Fauci, the original, telling us that masks worked, jabs worked. If we stay in the house for 2 weeks and then wear a mask, we'll be fine. And they made us stay in the house for 2 years. These are the same people in Ohio who made their residents stay in for 2 years. But now, after a toxic chemical spill and burn, they're telling them everything's going to be okay. Don't you worry about it. And we're supposed to believe it because, after all, they're the professionals. And who are we? Who are the residents of that small town? They mean nothing. They mean nothing to those professionals. It's the same thing as the big virus, only this time it's confined to a smaller area right now, because you don't think the toxic chemicals in the air are floating in the atmosphere now? You don't think they're going to affect another area? Of course they are. The Ohio River, they're going to flow down the river into other areas. And more fish are going to die. And more animals are going to die. And hopefully no people will die years down the line. Because we will never know the truth. And the people of East Palestine, Ohio, will never know the truth. So basically, they're on their own. They just have to deal with it. They'll let the government clean up the mess, and they're supposed to go about their daily lives, not worrying about their pets, their children, or themselves. They don't have to worry about drinking their water. Everything is fine. They tested it. Fauci II said everything is going to be okay. These people are a disgrace, again, to their profession. And what gets me the most, and I can't understand how these people even look at themselves in the mirror, Joe Biden has still, again, to this minute, not said one word about that chemical spill and burn. And Mayor Pete, where's he? If he's not out talking about racist construction companies, you don't see him. This is the government that supposedly cares about their citizens. So all we can do is pray for these people in Ohio, in that small town, because that's all they have going for them. The federal government is not going to help them. The local government is not going to help them. They have to fend for themselves and hope for the best. And hopefully they'll all come out okay. I, for one, don't believe that. So again, say a prayer for them, because that's all they really have right now, because no one in charge cares. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, share this video with someone. Let people you know, your friends, your family, see what's going on in this small town, because it could happen anywhere, and the government doesn't care. I hope everybody's healthy and safe. Have a great night, and I'll see you soon.